Happy March! It's the first day of March, so I'm going to be going through the art I consumed in February. I jotted them down last night with some like key points that I have about them. Yeah, so we're just gonna get right into it. Also, if I sound weird, I'm a little sick, my nose is congested, and I've just been like having like cold symptoms. There's a lot more film on here than there is other media, because I'm in school and I work, so, and both of those things I do remotely, so it's harder for me to read or, you know, do something that's not on in the background pretty much. But yeah, so February I call the month of love, and because Valentine's Day, and ironically, not planned, pretty much all of these movies or books or music have to do with love. We're gonna start with TV. The first movie I watched was The Phantom of the Opera, and I give it a 9 out of 10. The only reason I can't give it a 10 out of 10 is because the actor who is beside Emmy Rossum, not the Phantom, the other actor, I forgot his name, is so in my head related to the scary movies like The Conjuring and stuff. So it was just hard to see it, but 100%. And this was the first time I had watched it, which is crazy because I obviously, actually no, that's not true. I saw it in elementary school. I was very, very young, and my art teacher, my music and art teacher, it was the same for both, had us watch it, and I was like in love with it, but I had forgotten it and just haven't watched it. So I watched it again, and it is, oh my god, I want to live in the opera house. It is so beautiful. The outfits are gorgeous. I mean, Rossum is gorgeous. Everything was just done so well. And one of the scenes I loved was it shows Emmy Rossum going into opera lair, I'll say, where the Phantom lives, and it's so beautiful and so magical and whimsical and enchanting. And then a couple scenes later it shows her friend looking for her going down the same hallway, and we can tell that it's all just her perspective of like the enchantment that the Phantom put on Emmy Rossum, and it wasn't actually like that. And it's I just love the visuals, love the movie, like 100% probably gonna watch again. Yeah, so the next one is The Ninth Gate, another 9 out of 10. I don't have a reason for it not being a 10 out of 10. I just feel like for something to be a 10 out of 10 it has to be like, and I don't know, I really like it though. Johnny Depp is like a, how do I say, like I don't know, I don't want to say idol because it's like not what he is, but like everybody in my family, literally from like my grandma to younger than me, loves Johnny Depp, and it's just like hereditary at this point, you know, like with anything with Johnny Depp. That's another thing. I tend to like to watch new movies that have actors or actresses that I already know that I love, like Emmy Rossum in Phantom of the Opera. Love her. So I was like, I know I'm probably gonna watch the movie and like it. So yeah, The Ninth Gate, it is a, I wouldn't really say horror, it's more of like a psychological movie. It is about a book enthusiast, like a antique collector, just a very smart guy who collects books, going on a mission to figure out if this alleged book was actually written by the devil, and it unleashes a whole trail of mystery and this, that, and the other. It's one of those movies where you definitely need to pay attention. It's a slow-paced movie, but one of the reasons I liked it so much is because it's not a slow-paced snooze fest movie. Like, there was just enough balance of action, mystery, sarcasm. Johnny Depp's character was like the perfect amount of sarcastic. It was just a great movie, and I love the seduction and the mystery that came with it, because like the big picture or the big ending is like what actually happened, and I love movies like that, and I love when they don't make a second, like Coraline, how it's like everybody can wonder, oh my god, did she really leave the world, or this, that, and the other, and we really don't know what happened, and we can all interpret it differently, and that's something I love. That's what art is about. So yeah, The Ninth Gate, love the movie. Also reminded me of Eyes Wide Shut in a way. Wonder which was released first. Something I want to look at. Yeah, great movie, definitely recommend. Next movie I watched was What's Love Got to Do with It, and it's a story about Tina Turner and Ike. We hate Ike in this house. I'm sure a lot of people do. I give it an 8 out of 10. Like, it's actually a great movie. Again, I love the actress, and I like that they didn't. So it's a story about Ike and Tina Turner. If you don't know about them, look it up on your own. Short and sweet. It's about an abusive relationship between the two. And I think a lot of times when movies show that, they glamorize them, or they make the entire movie just scenes of the abuse happening. And that is not what this movie did. And I really, really love that it showed how Tina was before she was Tina Turner, and the culture behind the times and everything. And then the first abuse scene we see, it's implied that that wasn't the first time it had happened by one of Tina's friends. It's like, you can't keep letting this happen. So we didn't have to see every encounter to understand what was happening, and I think that's way more powerful than exploiting their story. Really displayed beautifully in a way where, like I said, it wasn't an exploitation, and it wasn't like it was a true story. Her point of view in a way where it didn't romanticize, degrade, or like change for TV, I guess. Exploit, I'll say. Exploit. So yeah. Then the last film that I watched was a show. I binged it. Bates Motel. Again, the actors. I love Vera. I don't know how to say her last name, so I'm not going to. And I love the boy. I forgot his name, but he's in like he's in a lot of great movies that I love. And I love Psycho. Bates Motel is a show based on the characters from Psycho, which is literally the horror movie. Without Psycho, horror would not be what it is at all. Like, that's fact. It's like the first horror movie like that, and I love it so much. My grandma showed it to me a couple years ago. I love it so much. So going into Bates Motel, I had really high hopes, and honestly, I wasn't really impressed. I gave it a 6 out of 10 because at first I was like, okay. The first couple seasons just focused on like a mystery of the town, and I know that we have to get backstory as to why Norman, who is the main character in both Psycho and Bates Motel, and his mom are the way they are, because that's the big mystery everybody wants to know, because like I said, it's based on Psycho, and if you know the story of Psycho, Norman has split personality disorder and thinks he's his mom, and then his mom kills people, and his mom's really been dead for years, and she's been a skeleton in his basement, and then he goes to jail, and when he's in jail, he's not in jail, his mom's in jail. Yeah, it's very Psycho. How do these people get the way that they are? And the first seasons were all about mystery in the town, and it was like people are getting murdered, drugs, like just like I felt more like I was watching like a crime show or something, and I was like, I don't know about all that. Like there was like human trafficking was involved, and it was just very weird, and they were losing me up until there's 5 seasons. I think they were losing me right until like the 3rd or 4th season, because that's when it shifted to more focusing on Norman's developing psychosis. We could have like elaborated more on like his slow spiral and this, that, and the other, but yeah, I was just a little bit unimpressed with the first half, and the last half I was more hooked. I was more like, wow, that's actually crazy. So it had a weird beginning and, in my opinion, a bad ending, because tried and true psycho. Like, that's the story that I want. That's the story I want to remember. And like I said, Norman goes to jail. In Bates Motel, Norman dies. Rihanna was in Bates Motel, and her episode was very kind of like Easter eggy to the original stories of Psycho. You know, the iconic, if you don't know, Psycho has the iconic murder shower scene. Input right now. Change the story in Bates Motel. In the original the original Psycho, Marianne gets murdered in the shower. In Bates Motel, Rihanna was Marianne. So they changed the story completely. Marianne in Bates Motel was a girl running away. She stole money for her lover who was married, and she got pissed off, and Norman was like, get out of here while you can. Go, because he knew he was about to snap and like try to kill her probably. And she went and escaped. So her episode is that same character, and it's an alternate ending, and then from then on the show changes. But like I said, I still kind of wish that we would have seen the way Psycho played out, but yeah. Also, Rihanna being in it is so funny, because it was literally just her favorite show. Like, she was like, yeah, I want to be in it. I was like, period. She was in it. So yeah, so that's it for TV. So we have Phantom of the Opera, The Ninth Gate, What's Love Got to Do with It, and Bates Motel. I recommend all of them, to be honest. The next thing was music, and I didn't necessarily listen to a lot of new albums this year or this month, but I have been listening. It's not even music, but I'm gonna put it there because it's on Spotify, and I have been listening to Divine Feminine Affirmations every morning. I just listen to them when I walk my dog, before I go to the gym, or when I get ready, or in the shower, and it's just like a peaceful, regulating, positive feeling that it brings me. So I genuinely recommend doing that. I do it every morning. It's just a very good practice. Final thing, and then I'll go because this video is getting long, is books. And I have a goal to read 1 book a month. This is the book of the month. Yes, my bookmark is in it. I have 10 pages left. I have less than 10 pages left. So I'm counting it, okay? I'm counting it. I had too much homework to do. I couldn't finish it. It is called The Road Less Traveled: A New Psychology of Love, Traditional Values, and Spiritual Growth. I saved the best for last. This is my favorite book. I love to annotate my books. I like underline everything. It's broken up into 3 sections. First section is about discipline. The second section is about love. The third section is about growth and religion. And the 4th section is about grace. And all of these things go together. It's so beautifully written. It's so, you know, books that are about self-improvement and stuff like that, but it just feels like a lecture and it's like exhausting to read. That is not this book. He speaks to you like he's speaking to you, and he's like sarcastic and relatable and tells stories and gives examples, and it's just great. And it's almost like things I have been feeling or been knowing or been wondering that I can't articulate, and it's like he did it for me. God, it's so fucking good. I think everybody should read this book. I don't care what you believe in, what you think, how you feel. Every single person in the world should read this book. Love was my favorite section because I love love. I'm going to scroll to a random page and read something that I wrote. Let's see. Dependency may appear to be love because it is a force that causes people to fiercely attach themselves to one another, but in actuality, it is not love. It is a form of anti-love. It seeks to receive rather than to give. Ultimately, it destroys rather than builds relationships. Let's do another. This is fun. I'll do one from each section. That was love. This is from Growth and Religion. It says, I don't think the world could be so right without a God. I just feel connected, real, like I'm a real part of a very big picture. And even though I can't see much of the picture, I know it's there and I know it's good and I know I'm part of it. That word for word explains how I look at life, how I feel about life and what I believe. And I was literally like, wow, I am so happy somebody could articulate it for me, because I always feel like I, obviously 20 minutes into a video, over explain everything. So yeah, I gotta do one from Grace and then I'll end with discipline. No, I'll do discipline and then I'll end with Grace. All right, discipline. It says, in order for a genuine novelty to emerge, yeah, I had to make sure I said novelty. In order for genuine novelty to emerge, for the unique presence of things, persons, or events to take root in me, I must undergo a decentralization of the ego. Self-discipline is a self-enlarging process. The pain of giving up is the pain of death, but death of the old is birth of the new. The pain of death is the pain of birth, and the pain of birth is the pain of death. Mic drop. Don't be like, duh, like I already know them, because I do that with a lot of things. Look how big this book is. This is a 300 something page book. Like, you're gonna get back, if you know those things, imagine how much you don't know that's in here, you know? And then we'll end with Grace. Love is the will to extend oneself for spiritual growth. Genuinely loving people are, by definition, growing people. The capacity to love is nurtured in one by loving parenting. But I have also noted that parental nurturing alone fails to account for the existence of this capacity in all people. Moral of the story, written by a psychiatrist, about things that he has learned, noticed, and come to balance: religion, science, emotions, love, sickness, mental illness, anxiety, depression, all of it. And it's just beautifully, beautifully, beautifully laid out in this book. Everybody should read this book. Also, I want to show you, I made a bookmark. I attended a Galentine's event. It was very, very fun. And look at this bookmark I made. It's a little messed up, but whatever. And I think it's so fitting for the month of love. And it's literally like my favorite bookmark. So yeah, that is it. That is all of the art I've consumed. Also, this is my journal, working on it. Oh my god. That's all the art I've consumed in February. You watch any of these movies or read any of these books or do any affirmations, or if you have anything you think I should watch for March or art for March, please let me know. I'm very open to suggestions all the time. If there's anything you pick from this, pick this, okay? Or the Phantom of the Opera. I love you. I hope your month was filled with love, and I hope March is filled with just as much, if not more. So, yeah. Love you. Goodbye.